friends, we are at the Web3 Family Conference in Barcelona, Spain. Amazing co-working, a lot of developers, enthusiasts, so many cool and interesting projects, and of course we will share with you this brilliant Web3 vibe.
At the same time, we also don't see
Small or big number of the validators who is doing something.
for the sidecar for the Ethereum node. And you can connect as many.
And the best of any conference is to meet your digital friends in the material world. And Dima, we meet each other so many times in the digital reality. Now we are meeting the material reality. And Dima from LIDO. And what's new in LIDO? What we need to expect?
Oh, first of all, Dan, hi, great pleasure to meet you. So we have a lot of new things in LIDO and a lot of things going on, but for me specifically, I would tell you about the most recent thing that we have and the thing that will go live very soon. So within 2 months, or maybe a bit more, we will have CSM testnet. So a testnet for the permissionless node operators within LIDO. So that's the most exciting thing. And also, in parallel, the team is working hard on dual governance. So most likely, by the end of the year, you will see both of these products live on mainnet or about to go live on mainnet.
Oh, this is amazing. It will up and increase the level of the decentralization.
Oh, definitely.
This is so nice. And how is for you Web3 Family Conference? How do you feel it?
Oh, Web3 Family Conference is a pretty unique place. It's the coziest crypto conference that I've ever participated. It's such a cute place, and I do like the vibes here, that it's not something like big when someone is speaking from the stage and telling you, oh, I will tell you how to leave or stuff like that. No, it's just like being with your friends at their place, for example, drinking beers, discussing crypto. So by far, that's the loveliest, I would say,
Yes.
crypto conference that I've ever been.
Really very family mood here. So, Dima, maybe you have any call to action or message to people who will watch us?
Oh yeah, sure. So if you guys are somewhat interested in Ethereum validation, make sure to visit our Discord, to tag me in Discord, and for sure to join CSM testnet once it will go live. So stay tuned.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Dima. It's always
you.
pleasure to meet you.
The thing is to tell you about representing speaking through the documentation that we have online. Is that good? Alright, we got a couple of people here. We're going to play. We're invited. So, before we start,
And we met Paul at the Web3 Family Conference. Very nice. I was hearing your flash talk about MEF and Ethereum, and about these great ideas that the solar stakers can create their own pools. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. First of all, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. So the idea behind solo staking is that it benefits the network more. If we want to decentralize Ethereum, for example, or whatever network for that purpose, but let's stick to Ethereum, a validator that is a home validator is more valuable in terms of decentralization than one marginal validator in AWS or in a big cloud server. It provides more decentralization, resilience to power failures, resilience to regulatory capture, etc., etc. But it turns out that because of MEV, which is something that wasn't calculated in the design of Ethereum, because of MEV, it is actually more profitable to be validating in a pool or from a centralized exchange than as a solo staker for the majority of solo stakers. There's a chance that as a solo staker you will get a lottery block, you'll get like 100 ETH, and then for you can retire. That's great for you. But in general, we can say that it's more profitable for pools to be in a pool than as a solo staker, and that for me is mind blowing. We really need to change that, because if it's more valuable for Ethereum to be a solo staker, why are we paying them less? So what we did is we created this smoothing pool where all of the solo stakers, they can pool their rewards in there and wait for and have exposure to these big lottery blocks. And what this does is it moves the profits from the median, which is small rewards, more towards the average rewards, which is higher rewards. The average rewards is what the pools and centralized exchanges get, and the median is what solo stakers get. So if solo stakers gather together and share rewards, they can move their reward to higher rewards.
Yes, this is very interesting. And how do you think, what is the main issue to come to this better model of the distribution of MAV rewards?
Yes.
Is this just an education of the solar stakers, or it's lack of infrastructure or something else?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think MEV has been built because of how the protocol is built, but off protocol. All of the tools that we're using to deal with MEV in Ethereum, they're off protocol. They're outside of the consensus layer. They're outside of, like, we're using Flashbot's software. It's a private company, and they've done this MEV Boost software that everybody uses, and the system of relayers. All of this is not part of the Ethereum protocol. It is outside of the Ethereum. It's a private company that has created to facilitate this thing that it's the consequences of how the protocol is built, which is that you get the person that builds the block has advantage, and that's what we call MEV. Yeah. How do we solve this? Well, I'm of the opinion that we need to solve MEV. MEV is bad. There's arbitrage. There's people saying like, oh, but there's good MEV. Of course, there's arbitrage. There's things that you can do and make money and help people get fair prices. But for the most part, MEV is bad. And I'm of the opinion that we should work to eliminate it. Now, while we cannot eliminate it, it is like the only thing that we can do is to work around it in order to democratize access to the benefits of MEV. That not only the super sophisticated players like the block builders, like the big pools, like solo stakers need to be able to access the same amount of revenue that sophisticated actors can do. And for that, I think just the fact that nobody cares about solo stakers. That's the problem. So we're building these tools, and solo stakers, of course, there's a part of education. They need to use it. It's better for Ethereum if they use it. It's better for them if they use it. But since it's not part of the protocol, and there's interests on making more money from sophisticated actors, you know, like it's hard for solo stakers to be on top of all of the developments.
So maybe you have any call to action or messages that will help to overcome these problems?
Right. Okay. So basically 3 calls to action when it comes to MEV on Ethereum. Number 1 is if you are a validator, it doesn't even matter if you're a solo staker or not, or you have like a big pool, like join Smooth, smooth.dappnode.io. That's our smoothing pool. Why you should join this is because you're gonna move the rewards that you get from the median to the average, and you're going to contribute to the rest to get more rewards, to get closer to the average rewards. So everybody gets higher rewards if you join. If you don't have validators, but you have money, donate to Smooth. You can donate to Smooth. You can literally drop ETH into Smooth, and you're basically rewarding solo stakers more. You're increasing the APR of solo stakers. And that's a good thing, because we said that home stakers contribute more to resilience of Ethereum. And the third thing that you can do is, if you are planning an airdrop, if you're planning anything like anything that rewards users in a particular way, go to Smooth, take the list of Smooth users and reward them. If you're not going to donate to the pool, reward the users of Smooth, and then you're going to be rewarding solo stakers.
This is very interesting. Thank you, Paul. This is
Thanks
cool
to
and
you.
nice. Friends, visit this webpage. We will put the links in the description, because it's very interesting idea.
Сколько транзакций? То есть чем больше...
I'm using the sound and this is
a lot of interesting people we can meet at WEB3 Family Conference, and we meet Will. He is a LIDO DAO contributor, and he is the person who organized LIDO DVT testnet. We participate in it, and we see how much efforts and how much energy you put inside of it. Tell us about LIDO DVT testnet. You know about it, I think, more than anybody else.
Yeah, definitely. So Simple DVT is the newest module to the LIDO protocol. It's basically trying to do two things: onboard many new node operators to the protocol to run validators. The initial expectation is to onboard 250 minimum node operators. And what's really exciting about this is it's mostly solo and community stakers. So not only is it the first solo and community stakers that are participating in the protocol, but also there's quite a few of them. And then also just battle testing DVT technology using both OBOL and SSV, and really starting to see how this works on mainnet, how they perform. So we've done 4 testnets, well rather 3 rounds of testnets. We just finished the SSV testnet yesterday. The OBOL testnet and the SSV testnet both passed. We have 72 node operators on mainnet now with OBOL. We will be onboarding probably a similar number with SSV in the next probably month and a half or so. And then there's another round of testnets starting. So it's an awesome opportunity for anyone that's interested in staking to get involved.
We as the posthuman validator will participate in it 100%, because for us is decentralized validation technology is very interesting. And as your opinion, you organize it, you work with so big amount of the people. What is the hardest challenge to organize such testnet?
It's definitely a lot of coordination, and so that's why Simple DVT is not intended to actually last in the protocol forever. It's not intended for indefinite use. It's really just this first step in terms of making things more accessible for people to participate. But then the goal is to then have much more automated and scalable modules with permissionless entry, using DVT. And so coordination is part of why it's called Simple DVT, because there's still a fair bit of manual processes involved. It's curated, so we have to do an evaluation round to determine there's a subcommittee of the DAO called the LIDO Node Operator Subgovernance Group that has to assess people. So coordination is definitely the most challenging part, and pretty optimistic we'll move away from that in the next year.
Yeah, very interesting. So maybe you have any call to action or message for people who will watching us?
Yeah, definitely. So any solo staker, anyone that's interested whatsoever, should definitely participate. We have an SSV testnet starting in about 3-4 weeks. You don't need to be super technical. You just need to basically read through the step-by-step instructions to set up an SSV node, and you could be running validators on mainnet pretty easily.
Yeah, we will add all links in the description. Yeah, thank you, Will.
Yeah,
it's
thanks.
so nice to see you in material world after we met in the digital world. And this is the beautifulness of the conference.
Yeah, definitely.
Very nice.
It's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Accounts module, we offer accounts, we offer staking, we offer
A lot of cosmonauts at the Web3 Family Conference, and we meet Sam, and Sam is Cosmos SDK developer. And what we need to expect from the Cosmos SDK in near future?
So in the near future, I would say, so currently we're on the 050 release. So we've just released vote extensions along with some ABCI++. So this is the consensus engine, so part of the consensus engine. So we've released that, and then what's coming up next is 052, the next release. What we want to do is we're decoupling from our consensus engine currently. So, and what we're also doing is decoupling a lot of parts of the core kind of architecture. So this is making the SDK a lot more modular. So then what you can actually do from that is plug in your own consensus engine. Or, in this case, we're working with Rollkit from Celestia. So Rollkit's a product that they were just using for testing, and then basically that was a framework to create roll-ups. So that's using the Cosmos SDK. So now it's going to be a small line, because of all the redesign that we've done. It's now going to be a small line in the SDK, which you just have to change, and you can change your consensus engine very easily. So if you want to use roll kit to build a roll up, or if you want to use purely like Comet BFT, which is the consensus engine that Cosmos uses, you can do that. So there's some of like the new things. There's also a bank rewrite, and we're getting rid of a lot of tech debt. So that's like something that I'm working on now. Yeah, that's just to name a few. Oh, and we're doing account abstraction as well.
Oh, this is amazing. So Cosmos SDK will be more and more developer friendly, so we can wait for more developers.
Yeah, exactly. It will just make everything a lot easier.
And can you tell us something about the modular blockchains? Because Celestia make this very good effect of how we can run the good modular blockchains on Cosmos.
Yeah.
Will we have maybe the boom of modular blockchains on Cosmos? How do you think?
Yeah, I think that there definitely will be a big boom. Like, there's a lot of people wanting to use like the SDK at the moment, and as I've spoken about in like the talk, is like a lot of people are using EigenLayer, and then they're building on top of EigenLayer with AVSs, like automated validator systems. And so basically what that's doing is like allowing you and enabling you to leverage the security from Ethereum. And so it's bringing the security of Ethereum across, because a lot of people are quite like nervous, I think, about security and everything in Cosmos. I would say that's like one of the biggest things I've been hearing. And in terms of Celestia and this like boom, I would say like Cosmos really pioneered modularity, but I would say that Celestia really pushed it through and marketed it so well. I think it revitalized Cosmos in a way and enabled people like another level and excitement for like modularity in the ecosystem.
Yes, this is sounds like the big step for the Cosmos development, but was you developer before the Cosmos SDK, what you was developing, and after you come to Cosmos SDK, how you can compare it? Would you advise to other developers to start to run with Cosmos, to work with Cosmos SDK?
Yeah, I actually had a crazy story. Like when I came into like the ecosystem, I applied for a job. I got 2 jobs. I used to be a Ruby engineer. I applied for 2 jobs. I got them, and then I declined one, and then the other one rescinded the offer because of the crash. So that was really difficult, and then I had to get a job straight away, and I was like, oh my gosh, but a lot of my friends were in Cosmos, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to go with this, and I ended up working at Tendermint, which is Comet BFT, which is the consensus engine. So I was working very much like part of this ecosystem, part of the core teams, and but then internally there was like some restructuring, and Tendermint moved to informal systems, and so then like I ended up moving to the SDK. So it was like, I feel like I've really been like rugged a little bit already, but yeah, now it's like really making up for it. So, but I definitely think that like just keep trying, I guess, and like try ecosystems out. Yeah.
Very interesting, very interesting. And how is for you the Web3 Family Conference? Can you compare it with any other conference? How is the mood?
I really like how it's like very personal, I would say. I'm used to going to like really big conferences, so it's quite different. And I usually do workshops, so it was nice to be able to talk, and then it feels like very homely, I would say, because I used to do like teach at boot camps, and so it kind of feels like that vibe.
Yeah, yes, we also feel this friendly mood of the Barcelona conference.
And so many people are talking as well. Really.
Yes, yes. And maybe you have some call to action or message that you think is important for people who will watch us.
Yeah, I would say like watch out for like modularity and see what's actually coming with Cosmos, and just keep an eye on it.
Thank you, Sam. This is so nice to meet you. So cool that Cosmos don't stop to develop because of such great people as you. It was a pleasure.
You see all the way.
The laws. So great to meet Suji, founder of CRYPTOBAR, and Skrillah, founder of Secret Agency. It's so great to see you. Suji, tell us about CRYPTOBAR.
CRYPTOBAR, decentralization, tokenization of real-world asset. When you travel, sometimes you look in a book and it's like the first thing you see, what's the cost of a beer? So we tokenize this interaction for people. We use the tech to bring people together, to let like the little guy own something, and it's just the most the easiest on-ramp into like blockchain tech for just normal people.
And what is the main issues on the way of the tokenization of the bars? Why all other bars will not start tokenization?
What's the main issue? Just misinformation, you know? People don't know. People still think if you know, we say the word crypto and people think that means gambling or trading, you know? There's still a huge block in between what people understand as technology and just like gambling for money, you know? And that's the hugest hurdle now, is just explanation of like what it can mean to like really democratize the tech for people.
And how do you think, how long it will take until this information will spread it, until other bars will understand that they also can accept crypto?
This is the part, it's like from top down it's going fast, you know? BlackRock and everybody else is, you know, they're this like huge money grab over all the population's wealth, so they're tokenizing everything, you know? And it's always the way to kind of keep the information away from people. So our job is to really let the middle class and like invest in institutional investors that are, you know, interested at this level to come. It's kind of a race, like top down, bottom up. Same thing's happening to Bitcoin, you know?
And maybe you have something like a call to action or message to the people who will watching us that will accelerate this process.
Just come to my bar, have a drink, and we'll talk about it. That's all. You find me on Sujigram on the Instagram, and Sujigram on Telegram, SUJI, or just call this guy because he's gonna come have a drink with me later.
We will add all links in the descriptions. Yeah. Now, Skrillah, I have a question for you. What happens with Secret Agency, and what's about some of your new projects, also about GoDAO?
Oh yeah, man, it's been a while. You finally got me to sit down at a conference with you know, with an interview after all these years. Yeah, so Vlad, honestly, it's you know, pleasure to meet you again in Barcelona this time. Right now with Secret Agency, well, Secret Agency is an education DAO. So we push Web3 privacy, adoption, and education. This is our main mission. Right now, we are in the process of building out some new lectures and classes for an introduction to Web3 privacy. This is an area which is super complex, right? You have ZKs and you know, ring signatures and SGX encryption, all this crazy encryption tech. It's very hard for people coming in for the first time, or people coming in from institutions and TradFi guys, to understand this stuff. So the main mission at the moment is to try to make that information easily digestible, and really we're reaching out to conferences and universities to bring this new lecture series forward.
Yes, technology developed so fast that people have problems with adaptation to it.
Yeah.
But what's about GovDAO? This is also very interesting initiative.
Yeah, so Gov.DAO is a you know, like a legal and regulatory advisory, and we help DAOs to form on the right side of the various laws and compliance regs all over the world. A big part of that is privacy as well, so it feeds into each other, right? If you have an organization, you wouldn't want your payroll to be public. You have data protection laws. In the EU, we have GDPR about this. There are many elements of business operation that need to be private. So we are trying to build tooling that smashes down those barriers to adoption, and we're really hoping to integrate with any other amazing products that we can put our privacy DAO tech into.
And you already have connections with the CRYPTOBAR.
Yeah. Well, I love both Margarita the pizza and Margarita the drink, so it's a perfect opportunity. So, but yes, we're working together to open the bar and to also open the next round of investment in the crypto side of it as well.
This is very interesting. So, how other people from Web3 or community people or even common citizens can join, participate, contribute?
Yeah, so actually right now with gov.dao we have a public testnet open. Anyone can come into our Discord. You can go to govdao.io to join our testnet. Really we're looking for feedback from you know, everyday users, developers, from you know, people who are looking to form a DAO or are already in a DAO. Anyone that does give feedback, when we launch our token, we're going to airdrop them massively, because this is the time for us to get as much feedback as possible, build the best product we can, and ship it, and then everybody will be made good. Yeah.
So this is very interesting. So maybe you have some call to action for people who will watching us.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, go to our website govdao.io. You can sign up to the testnet there. You can reach me on Telegram. I'm Bryn govdao on there. And on Skrillah, OX Skrillah, sorry, on Twitter. So you can get me there as well.
So this is so great, so nice to meet you.
Cheers, thanks again. And yeah, make sure you join POSTHUMAN DAO as well while you're at it.
At the Web3 Family Conference, we met Tony, he's software engineer of DEDAUB. And at your presentation, you was telling about how you find the better ways to understand the MEF transactions and so on. Can you tell more about it?
Yeah, so part of my talk was on MEV, but the kind of the primary thing that I was covering was how we use the security tooling that we've developed at DEDAUB to kind of predict the impact of various EVM upgrades. You kind of might know them as EIPs. The kind of MEV thing that I was talking about with you was related to metamorphic smart contracts and how they kind of enabled MEV bots to upgrade in place and kind of preserve state associated with their account. That was kind of part of one of the studies we did related to self-destruct removal. So that was EIP 4788 and 6780, I believe. That ended up getting included in the Denkun hard fork last May. No, sorry, not last May, last March. So unfortunately, that like kind of interesting thing is no longer possible in EVM.
As the software engineer, how do you think MEV it's evil, or it's just is it a bug or it's a feature? Will Ethereum try to fight with MEV, or will it integrate and it will be a part of the whole system?
So I think MEV is a very philosophical discussion. I think there are benefits and downsides. Obviously, nobody likes having value extracted from them, but also MEV kind of really pushes the limits of what the network's capable of. I mean, some of the ingenuity we've seen from people doing MEV is very impressive. Like one of the things they do, for example, is they mine zero prefix addresses so that they have lower cost call data to get their transactions included. We've also seen like really clever things like gas token, which was related to gas refunds on contract creations and storage rights. So the MEV guys, they do a lot to push the limits of the network. And so I think whilst they can be detrimental, they can also be positive. I think going into the future, I think the general consensus that I get is that we kind of want to move to things like maybe encrypted mempools, and there were some talks on privacy today about that. Personally, I would prefer if we did something to mitigate MEV, since it would make it you know, easier, people will feel more comfortable interacting with the network. But I think the fact that MEV is so transparent in blockchain as opposed to how you have it in kind of like Web2, where if you read like the original Flash Boys book, which was about like the IEX exchange, trying to like kind of mitigate these things in Web2, the fact that it's accessible to everyone in Web3 is at least kind of a step in the right direction.
Yes, this is a great step for the decentralization, that everybody can do it. And what is your feeling about Web3 Family Conference? Are you often at the such kind of conferences? Can you compare it with any other conference?
So I think this is definitely one of the smaller conferences I've been to. I've been to a couple others. I was like at ETH Denver earlier this year. As you know, ETH Denver is like one of the craziest conferences. I was at ETH Taipei as well. I was there last year and I was there this year. So it's like a little bit bigger than this, but not too much bigger. And I think these kind of events are really good because you get a lot more of a personal connection. There's a little bit less shilling. You're able to interact with people a little bit better. So I think overall it's been a very good event. And I mean, it's in Barcelona, so who doesn't want to come to Barcelona?
Yes, very chilly and very family mood. Maybe you have any call to action for people who will watch us, or any message that you think is important?
I mean, I think the only message that I'd like to kind of share is like the value of education. I mean, so for example, one of the things that we do at DEDAUB, we try as much as we can to publish all of our audit reports. We try and make them as legible as possible so people can educate themselves about security. Our decompiler, we've open sourced since we think it provides value to the community. So I think really if you're like, if you're building something, try and make it available so people can educate themselves.
Thank you very much, Tony, for such good and nice words. It's so interesting what you do with DEDAUB. We will put all links in the description. Thank you one more time.
It was very nice meeting you. Thank you.
And DC and my take, which this on the social side and
And it's always great to meet cosmonauts at any conference, and we meet Facundo. He's the Cosmos SDK contributor and engineer. And Facundo, please tell to us what's new we need to wait from the Cosmos SDK.
So on the Cosmos SDK, we're pushing towards more modularity, more flexibility. So now you can build more stuff, and you have to fight less with the Cosmos SDK because of now we are like trying to offer as much this flexibility in which you can be removing some parts, like modifying them without having to go into too much trouble. Also, we are improving on the side of accounts, so we are implementing account abstraction. So those are a couple of things that we are working on.
This is amazing, abstract accounts on Cosmos. This is what we are waiting for too. This is so many possibilities. And as the Cosmos SDK engineer, can you tell what is you think is the best part of the Cosmos SDK, and what is the most hardest part of Cosmos SDK that you think we need to change or update?
So the best thing about it is, well, I'm always talking about flexibility, but I think that's like a great point because you can build whatever, and it's like you can see the Cosmos SDK being used in sovereign chains. You can see it being used in ICS. You can see it being used in rollups. So and now we are getting lots of attention from other ecosystems. Because we offer this very cool toolkit that it's easy to use and it's ready and it's battle tested. So I think those are the best things we have going on. Yeah.
And what is the hardest, as your opinion, or maybe what we need to change or update as soon as possible?
I don't know if we can update this as soon as possible. But one of the biggest challenges we have is tech debt. So we are always we are moving forward super fast, but we also have to take into account that we've been around for a long time, so we have a lot of chains running with the Cosmos SDK, so we cannot be like, oh, forget those. We always have to take into account that, okay, we need every time we create new stuff, we need to ideate a new, like a migration path for those chains, so everyone can get these new features without going into too much trouble. Because if you're just like developing new stuff like crazy and you forget about your existing users, I mean, yeah, you'll have all of this cool new stuff, but the users are not going to be like too interested, because they are going to be like, oh, we're going to be left behind. But that's not the case with the SDK. We always provide migration for everything we do and we change. Yeah.
Yes, as the validator, we really pleased because we always need to make these updates, and all updates goes pretty quickly and pretty easy. Thank you for developers that you do it as easy as possible. And we have such topic in the Cosmos ecosystem about ABC everywhere. Do we need ABC everywhere? Is it possible to have ABC everywhere, or we just need to say okay, ABC it's one part, but we can have some other part? How you think on this?
I'm a big fan of IBC, so I think we should have it everywhere. But I know that, like, there might be some chains that because of I don't know, you need fast finality, and you need like to be, I think one of the other issues that some chains have while implementing IBC, I think it's like the gas cost can be a bit too much. But yeah, I would love to see IBC everywhere. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, and I think it would be like a good move. Everyone would just use IBC because it's super easy, you know.
Yes, like a HTTP. Like
TCP. It's something it's easy to use. It's something that you can use every day, and it's just we're getting to that point that you almost forget that it's there. Yeah, sometimes some transaction, like sending from one chain to another, can be a bit slow, but I mean, in most of cases, it's like almost it's not there. You're like, oh, I'm going to send to this other chain, and you do it, and in a second you get it, and that's super cool.
Yeah, IBC is great. It's changed the playground of the Cosmos in the very good way. Maybe you have any call to action or message to people who will watch us?
Oh wow. A call to action would be get involved in crypto, I think, but the technology is, I mean, I'm an engineer, so I'm here mainly because of the technologies, and then everything else comes later, you know, and they are like extras, you know, but I think the technology is like a good enough idea of why to get into crypto. I mean, and if it's in the Cosmos ecosystem, even better.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Facundo. It was so nice to meet you in the material world and to understand that we will build something new in the digital world together. Always great. Находится, тем больше они могут, соответственно, WEB3 Family Conference is so amazing event, and we need to say thank you, Adrian, because Adrian is the founder of WEB3 Family Conference, and please tell us how it's to be a founder of the conference. Is it hard to organize so interesting event?
Is it hard to organize? Yes, it's hard to organize. I guess what's much harder in our case is that we do not have a big company behind us, and it's all started as a organization where I was running meetups, so it was not part of some grand plan. It all happened gradually and organically, and it's very hard because my background is not at all in events management, event production, So I had to learn as I went.
But even if no big funds behind of it, this conference have really family mood, and all people with whom we were speaking was telling, oh, it's not like any other conference. So you speak with so many different interesting projects and people. After it, what you can you tell what is what you think about these crypto projects after you became a founder of the conference? Your opinion maybe change about the crypto?
Yes and no, because I already have a lot of experience. So in the field now, I've been working in the industry since 2018, so that's how it came about. I just, wanted to meet interesting people by running these small gatherings. Many years already gave me a lot of insight on the industry. I would say that what's really interesting is that now I speak to many more projects to plan things, and obviously I see different behaviors depending the teams and depending the type of projects. So yeah, it's interesting, yeah, but yeah.
And do you have your own project, or maybe you participate in several projects?
Yes, I participated. So before running this, I worked for many projects, companies, startups, DAOs, depending, how you want to call them, or how the size they had and so on. From really tiny ones with just basically me and the founder, or bigger ones with maybe 20 people, to much bigger ones with hundreds of people. So yeah, that's been my background. And right now, this basically took over everything, so I didn't have the bandwidth to juggle with other commitments, this. I started working on this conference back in October, so it's been 6 months. Maybe at the first phase there is some bandwidth, but I would say it's kind of 2 phases how it went, and in the second phase, second half, I had 0 bandwidth for anything else pretty much.
So this is very interesting because the result is so cool and great. And what was your expectations and what you see, how you can compare it, and what do you think will be in the future?
Okay, my expectations, so my goals, I would say there's different ones. So I would say in terms of what I want, the kind of atmosphere and style, I suppose, is the conferences that inspire me would be DevCon, DevConnect, ECC, maybe Cosmoverse, this type of more crypto natives, builders conference where people are long-term believers, and I guess the twist that I try to add is that we are multi-chain. Doesn't mean that anything goes, there is some sort of informal criteria, so yeah.
Yes, the Web3 family conference, really chain agnostic conference. So nice to see so many people from different communities, and maybe some other communities or projects can somehow help or participate if they want to contribute or maybe participate in the next Web3 family conference. What they need to do?
They need to reach out. It's very simple. They need to reach out. I'm building this as I go. As I said, my background is completely different. So obviously it means there is some limitation on what solutions I can come up with. So as I go, I try to be more inclusive and try to find ideas to basically include more people from different backgrounds, because in my mind it was always pretty clear what I want to do, but then you have people who come a bit, let's say, outside of this scope, who reach out to you, and then it's up to you to say, okay, this is not what I want at all, and move on, or you say, okay, maybe I find a way to include them, but it's not so easy, because if you say you want to include them, you say, okay, but how? Because if it's a bit outside the original scope, you need to think, well, you probably don't want to give like right away like a big space, otherwise your audience, just like if you, let's say, somebody who reads a magazine on a very narrow scope, if suddenly that magazine comes and say, okay, now 50% of our magazine is a completely different scope, the readers will just throw away the magazine and say, I don't understand what they're doing. It's the same for events, basically. You need to think that way, that you have people who have certain expectations based on what you started. And if you do some changes, it's like, you know, steering a ship. You need to be slow and see how people react, and that can take time, you know?
Very interesting, very good analogy. Maybe you have any call to action for people who will watching us, or maybe any message?
Any message? Call to action? Yeah, you can reach out and we can try to do something together. And yeah, we'll also do like meetups, public events, private events on a very small scale, locally in Barcelona. Yeah, we've been featuring also like smaller projects lately, and also big projects, so we're trying to juggle now with that. And yeah, message is like, just if you think you can do, if that's inspiring you, just maybe just get started, you know, and see where it takes you. And something very controversial that I really believe in too nowadays is solo founders. That's why I am alone, because I've seen that in community building space, in sense of like running events independently and so on. A lot of communities that I came across stopped because of disagreements, because of lack of funding or whatnot. And if you look in Barcelona, the oldest communities, they're all run by one person.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, so it's a very counterintuitive, and very much even more in the crypto space, I would say, because people are all about decentralization and so on and so forth. But reality is, in Barcelona, if you look at most communities that are sort of like led by like 2, 3 or more people, they stop. I was part of that. I ran these communities with some friends and so on, and you always come to a point where somebody stopped to contribute, and then there is some disagreement, some misunderstanding, and so on, and then you have to restart from scratch again and again. And I don't know exact root answer to this, but for me it came to a point where I realized, wow, if I had been very stubborn from the very beginning, from when I started to run these events in 2018, well, today I would be even further, you know, because this is 6 years ago. And now in just 2 years, actually, so Web3 family I started 2 years ago. That's, in 2 years, that's, you know, that's why I am with this conference, you know. So you think, okay, if I had been doing this for 6 years, where would I be?
Yes, this is very interesting idea. I think it's a lot of to think for everybody. But Adrian, thank you very much for this beautiful conference, for this beautiful family Web3 vibe. We always glad to contribute somehow from our side. And one more time, it's brilliant time for builders, for developers, for networking, the best place.